What is going on, guys? It's Area of Effect with another out-of-the-box build, the Atronach squad build, a Magicka Sorcerer, summon 2 or 3 Atronachs sometimes to your side. It's nuts. Check out the stat screen. We've got over 33,000 max Magicka. Spell damage could be a little bit higher. You can get it over 4K with one tweak. We'll go over that later. We are using the Lover Mundus because we want to get some penetration where we're actually not utilizing a typical trait on one of our weapons, so we need to make up for that. We'll get into that in a bit as well. Clockwork, Citrus Fillet, you get that max Magicka, max health, and both Magicka and health recoveries. That's going to go a long way. You could use the Smoked Bear Haunch, but that brings your max Magicka down a little bit, but it does bring your stamina recovery up a bit. And the Atronach Aura is what I'm wearing. You got to have that when you're an Atronach. We are a Nord. You don't have to be a Nord. You could do a high elf or dark elf for a little more power, max resources and weapon and spell damage. But we're a Nord for the Stalwart passive. When you take damage, you proc 5 ultimate. This happens every 10 seconds. And Atronach is out for about 30 almost, so that's 15 ultimate over the course of 30 seconds. That makes a big difference on your Atronach overlap. And we get the physical and spell resistance from Rugged. If you don't like the fact that we are a Nord, like I said, you could be a Magicka race at just a slight expense of the Atronach uptime. Let's jump into the gear now. Eye of the Grasp is our first 5-piece set. We are using the Lightning Staff with a Shock Glyph, and we want the Decisive trait. We need that for more ultimate generation. I'll skip to the 5th trait. When you deal critical damage, you generate 7 ultimate. This can occur every 5 seconds. That is a lot of ultimate generation. We only have this on 1 bar, so it toggles on and off, but it's really to no consequence because of that cooldown. The second 5-piece set is Akaviri Dragon Guard. Magicka Recovery, Healing Taken, Max Health, Health Recovery, and reduce the cost of your ultimate abilities by 15%. This is great. This does not come off. We have 5 pieces on our body at all times. This will apply to both bars, and it brings the Atronach from 170 cost down to 144. Being that we have 3 pieces of light armor on our body, we are getting, and the smaller pieces, by the way, waist and gloves, and then pick one for the 3rd. We did that for more penetration because you get almost 1,000 penetration for each light piece. And if you did the ring of Eye of the Grasp here, you'd maybe get an arcane trait instead of healthy, but then you'd lose out on 1,000 penetration on your body from the light armor passives. Now, so I put the Ring of the Dragon. Necklace of Pearls of Elnofe. This is insane. When you cast a healing ability while your dominant resource is under 30%, you gain 5 ultimate. That's every time. It could be a stamina heal like Dark Exchange, or it could be a Magicka heal. And we'll display that in a minute here. But then the next ring is the Ring of the Potentates. I transmuted it. It would have been healthy. I transmuted it to infused. Reduced the cost of ultimate by 15% more. We have this on a restoration back bar. This could be a decisive trait if you would like. I have defending, I didn't transmute, and believe it or not, it's hard to find. Check out the guild stores. But that doubles up our ultimate reduction cost of the Atronach from 144 down to 122. Check it out, 122. Now, I did mess with the Werewolf Hide, or sets like Tava's Favor, other ultimate-related sets, but honestly, having the cost reduction without requiring to take any damage was insane. So now the potion that we use in this build says Essence of Magicka, but max Magicka, max stamina, both major buffs for those regenerations, and then minor heroism, basically the entire time, 47.6 seconds with a 45-second cooldown. It's very expensive to make. Dragon's Blood, Dragon Rheum, I believe it's pronounced, Columbine, and you get that Magicka. Now, if you don't want the Magicka, you can pay a lot less for this version, Dragon's Bile, Dragon's Blood, and Columbine, and you'll get the minor heroism with stamina buff and stamina generation, major endurance. But for a Magicka build, I liked to have the Magicka one, but the Dragon Room is like $3,000 or $4,000 a piece, so very expensive. If you want to avoid that, do the cheaper version. All right, we'll go ahead and jump into the skills now. We'll start off with the front bar, the lightning staff. Force Pulse, we have this one instead of Crushing Shock. I like that AoE damage, the additional 10,000 magic damage if people have a status effect nearby. So we like to weave this with light attacks, and it's a great way to kind of burst single target damage. Dark Conversion, this is actually a heal. It's a stamina heal, restores health and restores magicka at the cost of stamina. But when you're down below 30% max magicka, you cast that and you can get a proc on pearls. The next skill, Crystal Fragments, 9,800 magic damage. Your next non-ultimate ability within 3 seconds costs 10% less, but you have a chance to proc the instant frag, which deals a lot more damage, casts instantly, and is devastating. Next skill, Mage's Wrath. Up front, not a lot of damage, 3,600 shock damage, but it's a finisher, so if they fall below 20% health within 4 seconds of casting, an explosion deals an additional 13,000 shock damage and some AoE damage around the initial target. See, not a lot up front, but very, very devastating if they fall below 20% health. The next skill, Inner Light, we have this slotted for 3 reasons, actually. We want the extra max magicka by 5%. We want the spell critical rating, the Major Prophecy, that's going to help us proc I Have the Grasp for that ultimate gen a lot more often. And there's a passive under Mage's Guild for having it slotted that allows us to get 2% more max magicka and 2% magicka recovery. So Greater Storm Atronach, this is our ultimate. We want the longer ultimate. He's out a little bit longer. He does not do the AoE damage, but to be honest, in PvP, the AoE Atronach isn't going to do as much damage anyway. People don't just stand on top of the Atronach. So I like this one. You could slot Dawnbreaker of Smiting. It's going to increase your weapon and spell damage while it's slotted, but there's a Fighter's Guild passive that when you kill an enemy with a Fighter's Guild ability slotted, you get 3 ultimate. It's called not Slayer, it's Banish the Wicked. Generate 3 ultimate when you kill an enemy. So just a little bit more ultimate if you want. You can slot that, or you could slot Shooting Star. It's another Mage's Guild ability, and it's going to give you 4% max magicka and magicka recovery, as opposed to just the 2% for having Inner Light slotted. But I think I like the Atronach or the Dawnbreaker more than the Meteorite. So I will add that there is a Daedric Summoning passive for extra health and stamina recovery while you have one slotted. So if you want that, go with the Atronach. The back bar, the Restoration Staff, Daedric Prey. This is a must. Deal 11,000 damage to the initial target and an AoE damage around the target. But while it's active, your pets will deal additional 20% damage to the target. So you put Daedric Prey on an enemy that's getting hit by 2 Atronachs, it's doing a lot of damage. And the explosion isn't bad. Look at 14,000 when it crit on the front bar. So you cast it, and 4 seconds later, it goes off. But you've got to have this on this build. How could you not with all these Atronachs? The next skill, Radiating Regen. Just another small, cheap heal. It's 20,000 health over 10 seconds. By small, I mean cheap. Doesn't cost a lot. So when you get below that 30% max magicka, you can cast this a lot for that Pearls Necklace proc. See the glow there? And also because you're healing other allies around you, you get ultimate for healing allies as well. So just more ultimate. The next skill is Streak. Turn yourself into pure energy, flash forward, dealing over 5,000 shock damage to any enemy, and you stun them for 3 seconds. An Atronach, especially a lightning Atronach, can turn into a living lightning bolt. So it's just a great way to get out of a pinch. Next skill, Critical Surge. This gives us our Major Brutality and Major Sorcery, increasing our weapon and spell damage by 20% for 33 seconds. But when you deal critical hits while it's active, you heal for over 3,000 max health. This can occur every second. This is insane. I love this skill. Works well with Boundless Storm, which we're going to talk about now. You get your Major Resolve and Major Ward, which is your 6,000 almost physical and spell resistance, but you deal shock damage around you every 1 second for 23 seconds. 800 plus, but it could crit for over 1,000. It's actually got a pretty good range. I don't know why, but as long as I played this game, I don't remember, and I'm a day one player, I don't remember it being this far, unless I'm getting old and I'm just forgetting things I already knew. But that's a pretty good range for Boundless Storm, unless they increased it. All right, next skill, again, is Greater Storm Atronach. This is the bar we have to have the Atronach on because this is the Potentate's bar. This is the reduced cost bar. So casting from this bar is going to cost us 122 ultimate. The only reason why we would have it slotted on the other bar is just for the passives to not go away, for the 20% health and stamina recovery. But there is a more critical rating exploitation when you cast Dark Deal or Crystal Frags. You get that extra crit chance, and that lasts for you and your allies for 20 seconds. All right, let's jump into the champion point screen now. We'll start with the green, and we won't spend much time here. I always say in all of my videos, it's more of a crafting type of tree, but you could pick the reduced fall damage. It ends up being 35% reduced fall damage. That's going to matter in PvP. Steadfast enchantments make your glyphs last a little bit longer on your weapons, so those might be relevant, but for the rest, do what you'd like. The blue tree, Arcane Supremacy. We want to get that max Magicka up a little bit. We are a Nord, so we don't have a max Magicka buff from being a high elf or dark elf or something. Untamed Aggression, increase your weapon and spell damage by 150. That's going to be just constantly. Deadly Aim, increase your damage done with single target attacks by 2% per stage. It gives us 10% on frags. Force Pulse, the Lightning Atronachs attack. So that's going to go a long way with our Atronachs, including the Daedric Prey. Mastered Arms, increase your damage done with direct damage attacks. That's going to affect Force Pulse, Crystal Frags, Daedric Prey, and the Atronachs incoming, bang, I guess you'd call it, as they drop from the sky. You could do Last Stand for even more ultimate generation, giving yourself major heroism if you drop below 20% health and take damage. And I feel like if you were to pick that one, I'd swap out Arcane Supremacy, the max Magicka. On the red tree, Rejuvenation, 90 health, Magicka, and stamina recovery. We want a lot of recovery on this build to keep going. We're using stamina as well with Dark Exchange. Peace of Mind, 200 health and Magicka recovery while you're on CC cooldown. That's after you break free from a stun or an immobilize. Sustained by Suffering, increase your health, Magicka, and recovery, stamina recovery by 150 when you're under the effect of a negative effect, which is constantly in PvP. Strategic Reserve, 30 health recovery for every 10 ultimate you have. I thought about not using it because we go through ultimate quickly, but we also gain ultimate quickly, so I like that one. Well, that's going to wrap up the CP distribution and actually wrap up this build video, the Atronach Squad build. Look, if you like this build and you like this video and you want to see more, head on over to my channel, Area of Effect. I've got plenty of builds and ESO related content on there. Stay safe, guys. Thanks for watching. Area of Effect, signing out.